The silence that falls in the wake of a soul's departure from this physical plane is often misinterpreted. We perceive it as an ending, a final quietude. But what if that silence is, in fact, a space of profound activity, a frantic search for the right path forward? What if the spirit, newly untethered from the body, is trying to read a map for a journey it has never taken in this form, and we, the living, are unknowingly hiding the most crucial pages? Edgar Cayce, the man who could close his eyes and see through the veil that separates our world from the next, understood this with a clarity that few have ever possessed. He saw that the transition we call death is not a severing, but a continuation, and that the baggage we leave behind, both physical and energetic, can become anchors for the departing soul, preventing it from ascending to its next stage of learning and peace. This isn't about ghosts in a haunted house. It's about the subtle, powerful, energetic ties that bind and the sacred duty we have to release them. Before we delve into the specific warnings passed down through Cayce's readings, if you find yourself seeking a deeper understanding of life's great mysteries and wish to explore the spiritual journey with us, please take a moment to press the like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support allows us to continue bringing this vital knowledge to light. The common human impulse when a loved one passes is to preserve their memory in a pristine, idealized state. We want to remember the good, the noble, the strong. In this process of curating a legacy, we often feel compelled to hide or tidy away the complexities, the unresolved issues, the messy parts of a life fully lived. We might conceal a letter that speaks of a long-held resentment, or tuck away a business plan that represents a failed dream, believing we are protecting the deceased's reputation or sparing the feelings of the living. But Cayce's perspective turns this logic on its head. From his viewpoint, the soul, upon crossing over, enters a period of intense and immediate life review. It's not a judgment from an external source, but a self-confrontation with every thought, every deed, and every intention. The soul is essentially looking back at its own energetic signature, the complete and uncensored record of its recent incarnation. When we on the physical plane hide an object that holds a significant energetic charge, an object tied to a powerful emotion, an unfulfilled promise, or a hidden truth, we are in effect redacting a critical piece of the soul's own story from its view. The soul can feel the void, the missing piece of the puzzle. This creates a state of confusion, a spiritual dissonance. The spirit may feel an inexplicable pullback towards the earthly plane, a nagging sense of incompletion it cannot quite identify. It lingers not out of malice, but out of a desperate need to understand the totality of the life it just lived, because that understanding is the very key to its progression. We think we are closing a chapter neatly, but in reality, we are tearing out the last page, leaving the story unfinished, and the reader, the soul itself, in a state of perpetual limbo. Our act of protection becomes an inadvertent cage, forged from love but functioning as a barrier to freedom. Therefore, our responsibility is not that of a reputation manager, but of a spiritual executor, ensuring all energetic accounts are settled so the soul can be truly free. Number 1. Objects of unresolved emotion. At the heart of a human life are the powerful currents of emotion that shape our relationships and decisions. Love, anger, forgiveness, and regret are not just fleeting feelings. They are potent forms of energy that we embed into the world around us, especially into physical objects. Consider a handwritten letter, sealed in its envelope and tucked away in the back of a drawer. It might be a confession of love never sent, a plea for forgiveness never uttered, or a furious tirade written in a moment of pain and then hidden away out of shame or fear. To the living, this is just old paper and ink, but in the landscape of the soul, this object is a blazing beacon of unresolved energetic business. Edgar Cayce's readings consistently emphasized that the universe seeks balance and resolution. When a soul departs with a powerful emotional current left ungrounded and unexpressed, that energy remains tethered to the physical world through the object that contains it. Hiding such an object after someone's passing is akin to burying a live electrical wire. The energy is still active. The soul in its post-life review will encounter the memory and the emotion associated with that letter. It will feel the deep regret of words left unsaid, or the burning shame of anger left unresolved. But without the physical object being discovered and its purpose fulfilled or understood by the living, the energetic circuit remains open. The spirit can become fixated on this loose end. It might try to draw attention to the object, leading to what many interpret as paranormal activity, a feeling of a presence in a room, a book repeatedly falling off a shelf, a persistent, unexplainable sense of sadness in the home. These are not attempts to frighten, but desperate non-physical attempts to communicate. Find the letter, read it, understand, release me. Our duty then, when we discover such an object, is not to hide it, to protect feelings. It is to act as a bridge. The action required depends on the letter's content. If it's a plea for forgiveness, perhaps it needs to be read by the intended recipient, or even read aloud in a quiet, sacred space, acknowledging the emotion and granting forgiveness on their behalf. If it's an expression of love, sharing that sentiment can bring healing to the living and a sense of peaceful completion to the departed. By confronting and resolving the emotion contained within the object, we don't just clean a drawer. We snip a powerful energetic cord that is holding a soul back from its journey homeward. Number 2. Items representing unfulfilled promises. Every life is a tapestry of intentions, dreams, and promises. Some are fulfilled, woven neatly into the fabric of our experience. Others, however, remain as loose threads. The business that was never started, the journey that was never taken, the debt that was never repaid, the verbal promise to a child that was forgotten in the rush of life. These unfulfilled promises are often attached to physical objects. A dusty set of blueprints in the attic, a deed to a piece of land intended for a specific purpose, an old promissory note, or even a simple, cherished item that was meant to be passed down to a particular person. According to the spiritual laws Cayce described, a promise creates a distinct energetic contract. It is a vow that ripples through the ether. When a soul leaves the physical body with such contracts unfulfilled, the energy of that promise remains active. It becomes a weight, a spiritual liability. If the living discover the objects representing these promises, and out of convenience or a desire to avoid complication, hide them away or dispose of them without honoring the intention behind them, they create a significant spiritual impediment. Imagine a father who promised his daughter a small parcel of land to build her home. He never got around to the legal paperwork, but the deed sits in his desk with a handwritten note clipped to it. For my daughter. After his passing, his son finds the deed and, seeing the potential profit, decides to sell the land and hide the note, telling his sister their father left no such instruction. In the spiritual realm, the father's soul feels this breach of trust and intention. It's not an earthly anger, but a profound sorrow and a sense of being stuck. His intention, a powerful creative force, was thwarted, and his energy remains entangled with that land and with the family conflict. He is tethered by the unresolved promise. The Cayce readings would suggest that the universe's ledger must be balanced. Hiding the evidence of the promise doesn't erase it. It merely postpones the karmic resolution, often creating more suffering for both the living and the departed. The proper course of action is to bring the promise to light. We must strive to honor the original intention as closely as possible. If fulfilling the promise is no longer practical, a symbolic act of resolution can be performed. This might involve a family gathering to acknowledge the original promise, a ceremony to release the energy of the intention, or donating the proceeds from the object to a cause the deceased would have supported. By addressing these unfulfilled promises openly and honorably, we act as responsible stewards of the deceased's energetic legacy, freeing them from the earthly obligations that bind them and allowing them to move forward on their journey with a clear conscience. Number 3. Documents revealing hidden truths. Truth is a fundamental vibration of the universe. Deception, secrets, and hidden truths, by contrast, create a kind of spiritual static, a dissonance that disrupts the harmony of the soul. In his trance states, Edgar Cayce often had access to the Akashic Records, a vibrational record of every soul's journey, the ultimate library of truth. This perspective gave him a profound understanding of how secrets held in the physical world can chain a soul, long after it has shed its body. The objects that embody these secrets are often documents, a hidden last will and testament that differs from the one being executed, a diary detailing a secret life or a hidden child, a bundle of letters exposing a long-held family secret, or financial records that reveal a truth about a family's fortune. The instinct of the living upon discovering such a bombshell is often one of self-preservation or a misguided attempt to protect the family's cohesion or the deceased's memory. The temptation to burn the diary, to hide the second will, is immense. It seems like the path of least resistance, the way to avoid immediate pain and conflict. However, from a spiritual standpoint, this is an act of immense gravity. When a soul transitions, it seeks to align with truth. Its life review is a process of facing its own complete, unvarnished reality. If there is a significant truth about its life that is being actively suppressed on the physical plane, the soul exists in a state of contradiction. It knows the truth on a spiritual level, but it feels the energy of the deception being perpetuated by the living. This creates a painful schism. The soul is unable to fully integrate its life experiences because a part of its story is being denied, held captive by the fear of the living. It's like trying to solve a complex equation with a crucial variable intentionally hidden. The solution can never be found. The energy of the secret festers, often manifesting as dysfunction and unhappiness in the family line for generations to come. The hidden truth becomes a kind of ancestral wound. Cayce's teachings would implore us to be agents of truth, no matter how difficult. Bringing a hidden truth to light is a sacred act of liberation. It may cause temporary turmoil, but it is a cleansing fire that allows for authentic healing and resolution. By revealing the secret will or acknowledging the words in the diary, we are not tarnishing a memory. We are completing it. We are honoring the full, complex, and true story of a human life. In doing so, we release the departed soul from the shackles of the lie, and we free future generations from the burden of carrying an unconscious, unresolved secret. The immediate comfort of a lie is fleeting, but the freedom that comes with truth is eternal, for both the living and the dead. Number 4. Objects of intense personal attachment and ego. Throughout our lives, we pour our identity into the things we own. They cease to be mere objects and become extensions of ourselves, symbols of our accomplishments, our passions, and our perceived status in the world. This could be a vast and valuable collection of stamps or coins, a pristine classic car lovingly restored over decades, a specific piece of jewelry worn as a signature, or even a house that was the singular focus of a person's life and pride. These aren't just possessions. They are anchors of the ego, the personality self we construct during our time on Earth. Edgar Cayce taught that upon death, one of the soul's primary tasks is to begin the process of detaching from this ego identity, to remember its true nature as an eternal spiritual being. The ego, with its attachments and vanities, was a necessary vehicle for the earthly journey, but it is too heavy to carry into the higher vibrational realms. When we, the living, treat these objects of intense attachment with an almost sacred reverence that reinforces the deceased's ownership, we can inadvertently strengthen the soul's identification with its former ego. For example, if a man's entire identity was wrapped up in his classic car, and after his passing his family preserves the car in the garage exactly as he left it, speaking of it always as Dad's car and refusing to let anyone else touch it, they are creating an energetic shrine to his earthly personality. The soul, which may already be struggling to release its attachment, feels this constant reinforcement. It may be drawn to linger near the object that gave it so much of its identity, unable to fully grasp that it is no longer the man who owned the car, but a soul that is meant to be free from all possessions. Hiding these objects is not the answer either, as that can create a sense of loss and confusion for the spirit. The key is a conscious and loving process of energetic transfer and release. The goal is to gently dissolve the mine and replace it with a legacy of love. This involves a shift in how we handle and speak about these items. Instead of saying, "This was Dad's prize collection," we can say, "We are so grateful for the joy this collection brought to Dad." The next step is to release the object from its static, shrine-like state. Sell the car and use the funds for a family trip to create new loving memories. Distribute the coin collection among the grandchildren, sharing stories of the deceased's passion as you do. Wear the jewelry not as a relic of the past, but as a living tribute to the love you shared. By putting these objects back into the flow of life, by transforming them from ego anchors into conduits of love and shared memory, we send a powerful message to the departed soul. We love you, we remember you, but your identity is not in these things. You are free. Your journey continues, unburdened by the weight of earthly treasures. Number 5. Personal spiritual and creative works. This final category is perhaps the most crucial and the most misunderstood. In a life filled with mundane tasks and worldly obligations, the things that truly reflect the journey of the soul are often our personal spiritual and creative endeavors. This includes personal journals filled with reflections and struggles, a Bible or other holy book underlined and filled with handwritten notes in the margins, a portfolio of paintings or a collection of poems that were never shared, or notebooks detailing personal philosophical or metaphysical explorations. These items are the raw, unfiltered record of the soul's attempt to understand itself and its place in the universe. They are the true work of a lifetime. When a person passes, the family might discover these deeply personal items and feel an instinct to hide them. They might think, these were private thoughts, it would be a violation to read them, or this work is unfinished and not good enough to be seen, it would be embarrassing for them. This thinking, while well-intentioned, comes from a purely earthly perspective of privacy and judgment. From the soul's perspective, as understood through the Cayce material, these works are its final report card, its thesis on the experience of being human. Hiding them is like hiding the very essence of the person's spiritual journey. When the soul is in its life review, it is assessing its growth, it's striving towards its spiritual ideal. The notes in the Bible are not just scribbles, they are evidence of a search for God. The unfinished poems are not failures, they are expressions of the soul's deepest feelings. The journals are not mere diaries, they are the logbooks of an inner voyage. To lock these away is to deny the importance of the single most important aspect of the person's life, their spiritual and creative evolution. The highest and most loving action we can take is to honor this work. This doesn't necessarily mean publishing it for the world, but treating it with reverence and allowing its wisdom to ripple outwards. Read the journal entries that offer insight and comfort. Share a particularly beautiful poem with close family. Study the notes in their spiritual texts to better understand the path they walked. By engaging with these materials, we are validating the soul's journey. We are communicating across the veil, saying, "We see you. We see what you were trying to do, what you were striving to become. Your work was not in vain. The lessons you learned will continue to teach us." This act provides a profound sense of completion and peace for the departed soul. It confirms that their inner life, their true life, was seen and valued. It allows the energy they poured into their spiritual and creative works to complete its purpose, which is to illuminate, to teach, and to connect, freeing the soul to fully embrace the next chapter of its eternal existence.